Okay, Harriet, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Thank you. And good morning, everyone. My name is Harris Adams. I'm the administrative law judge assigned to hear proceeding number 24F-0236CP. This matter comes on for a pre-hearing conference pursuant to decision R250001I. I'll call the conference to order if we can start with entries of appearance.
Jedediah Knight on behalf of Mountain Star.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mark Valentine on behalf of Ace and Ramblin.
Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor. Sean Jennings on behalf of On Location Events.
Good morning. Okay, briefly, I just want to get a procedural schedule in place this morning. It's the only thing I intended to address. I don't know if the parties have conferred on any scheduling issues or manner of hearing, but the commission can hold hearings in person, fully remote, or in a hybrid format where some are in the hearing room and some are at other locations. And so those are the two issues I plan to address. If anybody wants to jump in as far as any procedures or anything like that.
Yeah, so we have been conferring regarding the dates for the hearing. Something that has come up is the Red Rocks concert season starts in late March, early April, I believe. And one thing that's of concern to Mountain Star is that if we get the hearing beyond that date, that On Location, Ace, and Ramblin are going to just continue doing what they've been doing before, violating the law. And you know, that we have that issue there, and which we're trying to address. Like, that's the key issue here. And so we've been proposing a hearing in early April. Unfortunately, it sounds like there's not a lot of availability there for opposing counsel, and they can, of course, speak for themselves. And so, you know, they've been proposing late May. I think the last proposal was earlier in May, but you know, our counter to that was, well, okay, but don't do what you've been doing until we get this issue resolved. And there's kind of been a dispute about that.
Okay. All right. Anything else to add, Mr. Valentine or Mr. Jennings, as far as hearing date?
Go ahead, Mr. Jennings.
Thank you, Your Honor. I do think that's a pretty accurate summary. You know, counsel have been in cordial discussions about the case schedule going forward. We understand Mountain Star's position. On Location just does not share the same view that the case schedule needs to follow, you know, anything aside from the procedural and substantive matters that are at issue before the commission. So, you know, we just don't share the view that the hearing needs to occur by a date certain in relation to the concert season. You know, I think this complaint was filed back in June of last year. It does raise a lot of complex legal issues, several parties. And you know, even as we're here in mid-January, there's going to be a hearing, you know, Your Honor's decision, potential commission decision. So I think we're still a little bit of ways off from a final resolution in this case if it goes all the way to hearing and goes through those decision-making processes. So I do think, you know, Mr. Knight's summary is correct. On Location does prefer a hearing date in May. I'm personally going to be out around the month of April for parental leave. And so just looking at, you know, calendar and available dates, our proposal is something in May.
And Mr. Valentine.
Thank you, Your Honor. We would prefer May as well. And Mr. Knight's argument presupposes the outcome of this matter, and I think that there's certainly a hearing to be had. There's other legal issues to be raised potentially, and we understand the concern about the concert season. Like On Location, we don't share that concern. Typically, commission schedules aren't set based on extraneous events occurring. So we would prefer May as well. There's going to be additional motions practice and discovery and potentially depositions. I'm out the last week of March. So those are our thoughts, Your Honor.
Is there procedures for the hearing? Then let's go through that as well. We'll start again with Mr. Knight. A preference in the manner of hearing, a remote hearing, otherwise, and I guess well, but we better address that first, then we'll talk about what the procedures are to get ready for it.
A remote hearing is fine, or there's no preference there on our side.
Mr. Jennings, Mr. Valentine, any opposition then to a remote hearing?
Your Honor, I would, Ace and Ramblin would both prefer an in-person hearing.
Mr. Jennings.
On Location does not have a preference, Your Honor. There may be folks who are not in Colorado that could be involved. So I guess we would maybe ask for the opportunity to call certain folks virtually, but we do not have a preference.
Okay, then one more time, Mr. Valentine, why?
Thank you. Well, my clients are located downtown, and I just think that it's a better hearing. That's my experience. The judges tend to disagree with me. They don't think it matters. I like to be there in person and see the witness face to face and be able to confer with my client more easily, because I think that's important. So those are my reasons.
Okay, well, we'll approach it then as a hybrid hearing, and I'll accommodate Mr. Knight and Mr. Jennings, and you can participate remotely, and Mr. Valentine and you and your client can participate here at the commission. So then procedures wise, I'll set a schedule. I think we'll use the box.com process that where the parties each have a private folder where they'll upload their exhibits, and we'll put a procedural deadline to exchange disclose exhibits and summaries of witness testimony, and culminating in a hearing. So I think I want to talk more of those scheduling option timelines before I pick when the actual hearing will be. I was frankly thinking sooner than May, and just because of where we are in the case and getting it to a hearing. So, Mr. Valentine, I heard you're out the last week of May.
March, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, March. So I'm assuming that's then the week of the 24th.
That's correct, Your Honor. Thank you.
And then, Mr. Jennings, when is your parental leave beginning?
Your Honor, end of March, most likely throughout April. So that's why we were looking at May. Of course, if another date is set, you know, on location, we'll have counsel. But just looking at the calendar, that's why we were targeting May.
Okay. Um, Well, Frank, respectfully, I want to accommodate the parental leave. I understand that type of situation. But I think the way I see that happening is we move forward, not back. To take out 5 weeks out of the schedule is, you know, I think going forward addresses your issues of being out as well as being later. So I'm looking at March 20th, March 21st. Any preference or problem with either of those?
Either works for us.
Mr. Knight and counsel have not conferred on the duration of the hearing, Your Honor. I'm thinking probably 2 days would be a safe bet. I don't know how many witnesses Mr. Knight intends to call. 2 days seems like a safe amount.
I agree.
Okay. All right. Then I think that's what we'll do. I'll space out basically evenly between, I guess we could do that real quick. With a hearing on 3/20 beginning. That would be February 4th for the the complainant to file exhibits and summary witness lists and exhibits, copies of exhibits, February 4th. And respondents would then be February 26th. And we would then begin the hearing on 3/20. Let me just look at that a moment, though. I think we can slide that back a week for sure. Let's go to 2/11. And then March 5th. Okay, I'll get an order out to that effect. Anything further we need to address today?
No, Your Honor, not from our end.
I'm set, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor.
All right, thank you for participating, and I wish you all a good day. We'll get a decision out here shortly.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks.